I'm okay.
Happy
Just
to be here.
nervous.
Nervous. Okay, TV star, you're nervous. But love it. Thank you so much for being with us this morning. Tamika, let's start with you perhaps. This is such a bold and important story to
Mm.
tell. It's not just the story that is observed during the 16 days of activism,
Yes.
but this is a reality of a lot of people every single day. What was the heart and inspiration behind creating this film?
So the heart behind creating the film was just to bring awareness of what's really going on in communities, especially with emotional abuse, because a lot of women they find themselves in these positions and they don't even realize that they are in a toxic relationship. And it's something that I personally have gone through already, and because of that, I thought, let me take what the enemy meant to destroy me
Sure.
and turn it into something good, which is to help other females.
Mm.
And our hope for this film is that we can at least save one woman or anyone. So if somebody's watching this, they can easily pick up, whoa, that is what my boyfriend is doing. That's what
Yeah.
my fiance is doing. And that can then encourage them to get out of that position. So that's what the heart behind this film is.
Yeah, sure. Jonathan, the film highlights both physical and emotional abuse. Why is it important, for you to bring both aspects into the spotlight?
I think it's incredible simply because there's a massive idea that abuse is just physical. And part of the reason why I hopped onto this movie was because I saw an aspect to it that I wasn't very much aware of during my earlier years. So we look at aspects of gaslighting, manipulation, and just the toxicity. There we go. Sorry.
That's what they do.
Yeah, that's the word. And you look at the nature of certain relationships and you go, oh shucks, it's just physical abuse, right? Everything looks good on the surface, but once you go deeper into the relationship, you see, oh, but there's gaslighting. But the thing is this, the people that are in the relationship, let's say the women, they don't really know what gaslighting is, nor what manipulation is. So I think bringing awareness through this film is such a massive, massive thing. And before I didn't know what this whole situation about gaslighting and manipulation is, but now after this film, I'm now aware of these issues that surrounding certain abusive relationships.
Yeah. And perhaps maybe, either one of you, I'm going to get to our lead actress, Lizandre, but maybe just paint like a picture what this movie entails, just a brief synopsis before we go out and watch it on
Yes.
the silver screens.
Okay, so when Home Isn't Safe, it focuses on two individuals, Candace and Megan. So Candace played by Lizandre and then Megan played by myself. So Candace deals with a lot of physical abuse in her home, and she's frightened. She doesn't know how to speak up. And her mother actually tells her, there's a lot of Afrikaans in the film, so we want to keep it very local. So the
Yeah.
mother actually tells her, "Jy praat jy die huis uit nie. Hoor jy my?"
Sure, yeah.
And that causes so much fear in her. She doesn't know what to do. And then we've got Megan, who is actually a teacher, also going through. Megan is such a beautiful, confident personality, but because of this emotional abuse, it brings her completely down. Her self-esteem is damaged. She doesn't even know who she is anymore. Her friends are trying to talk her out of it,
Yeah.
but nobody can see it. It's up to her. Is she gonna stay in this relationship, continue the cycle, or is she actually gonna walk away? So that's what the film is about in a nutshell.
Sure, man. And to Alessandre, aka Candace, right? You are currently in matric. I know that off air we touched on the movie that it was in the works for like 2 years, or
Yes.
paused for 2 years, something in that regard. But talk to us about your experience. I mean, you're playing such a big role, someone who's embodying a message, that people are going through every day. How is your experience has been like, rather, as a cast member and trying to portray that story?
So we started with this film 2 years ago when I was in grade 10, and at the time I didn't know. I knew what gender-based violence is, but I had no experience with it. I still don't. But as we continued, I just prepared myself for the past 2 years, like to continue with the film.
Yeah.
So I think I have a bit more knowledge on it. So I don't know, it's different.
Yeah.
It's something that a lot of people experience. Everyone know about it, but not everyone experiences it. So not everyone has that personal or more not more knowledge about it than others do. So I think with this film, we're just trying to create more awareness so that people can understand or come to terms with the fact that it's real and it's happening in our society.
And maybe, for a Candace who's going through what you're going through at home in this film setting, or what you say to that Candace this morning?
I would just tell someone who's going through something like this to be brave. Don't gaslight yourself. Don't try to understand what's going on, that it's real. Don't be in denial. Try to speak up and get help. Someone that you can trust, because it's not a way to live.
Yeah, sure, man. Love it. Jonathan, Share-a-thon is, one of our fundraising campaigns here at CCFM, and our theme for this month, as made mention earlier on, is Together We Build One Heart, One Mission, right? How does the film reflect that message of unity and support in the face of hardship, brother?
In the face of hardship. I think just in any aspect in life, when you do things together, it brings about such a strong force that when you do it by yourself, you couldn't really take on, right? So within this film, let's talk about being on set. On set, we've got a bunch of people, people working on lights, people working on sound, set design, things of that nature. For all of us to come together and make this vision a possibility, it's such a powerful thing. I run a video production company, and when I started out, it was a one-man show, and I thought I could carry the world by myself. But when I started incorporating assistants and somebody who can do what I wasn't able to do at the time, and then we built up this team, and we were able to take up bigger projects. We were able to do much better things, right? So coming back to When Home Isn't Safe, as a team, I think we've got a formidable team. Well done, Tamika. And every single one of us, we've just got the synergy and connection and chemistry on set, which is phenomenal. And all of that just brings this whole idea of when home isn't safe to life, and I think it's such a powerful thing as well.
Love that. And Tamika, going back to you, we have amazing films that touches on this theme. With hopes to not only educate but like to stir up braveness, as Lizandre mentioned. What do you and your team and cast members hope that this movie will do in our communities, right? As you mentioned, want to keep it local, that home feeling, that personal feeling. What do you hope that this film will do in our communities, especially for those who feel unseen, unheard, or trapped in silence?
So we're hoping that this film touches many lives. So first of all, people in general, that you won't try and minimize what's actually going on in your community, in your home, to actually speak up, to actually encourage somebody to walk away instead of saying, it's not my business, I'm not going to say anything. If you can see your neighbor is struggling, speak to them, speak life, speak encouragement, but also for the actual victim that's in this situation, to have that boldness to walk out of it. It's something that it's very difficult when you're in that position. It's easier to say, why don't you just walk away? It's very difficult, but we're hoping that this film could at least sow a seed in somebody's heart to know, when I watch this movie, I know if Candace can do this, if Megan can do this, even though it's fictional, it's actually real. It's very much real. So that's what we're hoping, that people will have that boldness to step out, and also people that are not involved but can see it will have that heart and compassion to encourage someone, to love someone, and to be there for that person, that they can always, go to, vent to, and know that they have a safe space with someone else. So,
it's a very prevalent thing in South Africa. Just over the weekend, on the socials, a video circulating of, this young girl, 4-year-old girl, I'm speaking out of correction, Nikita. My heart has been heavy this whole weekend, and I feel like this movie comes at a very in season time, or is timely rather, with regards to that. For those who'd like to support this initiative, when is it coming out? When are we screening it? When are we watching it? Talk us through that.
So we're hoping to screen the film in November this year.
Okay.
So it's quite soon, in November this year. And we're hoping to screen it at Swanswyk Academy, so it's actually right here. But if anybody else that's listening wants us to host the film at your venue, you can always contact us. We're welcome to do that. Eventually, after all the screenings, we want to also take it to schools and, you know, show it in assemblies with the kids. So that's something that we can speak to them about as well. But yes, that's it. And then the first 100 people to buy tickets gets free popcorn.
There you go.
So that's something as well.
Yeah, love it. Social media before I speak to Jonathan.
So yes, you can follow us on When Home Isn't Safe. We're on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook.
Okay, fantastic stuff. And maybe as closing remarks, Jonathan, for those who are listening this morning who might be in a difficult or unsafe situation, what words of encouragement or advice would you like to leave them with this morning?
In terms of relationships.
With regards to the topic in question.
Wow. I think a very important aspect to any form of change is to accept that it's actually happening.
Sure.
I think a lot of the times we try to change things that we don't believe is, and so we won't know how to tackle it. I've come to a space where understanding what you're going through and knowing how to tackle it has become such an important aspect of my life. And if anything, I can give the advice to people today is accept it for what it is and find a way forward from it. I think it's very important to move away from spaces where you don't feel comfortable. How certain people make you feel is very important. And if they make you feel down, if they bring you down and not add into your life, I think that's a space that you need to rethink and possibly move on from there. Whoever's listening to this and might be going through a hard situation, you've got the tools that you need to get out. You've got the tools within yourself. Everything that we need is within. And do not feel like you are incapable or incompetent or made to feel inadequate in any way and form. I think God has blessed us with such greatness within, and if we can tap into what God has called us to do, I think the power that we have comes from that thing. And by the grace of God, He allows us to get out of certain situations.
Yes.
But it begins by identifying and accepting that there is a problem here.
Sure, man. Profound words.
Can I add on
Yeah,
that as
sure.
well? And also just to anyone who actually finds themselves in that position, to forgive yourself. Forgive yourself, because I know when I went through this type of situation, I struggled to forgive myself. And the worst is to hear somebody say, why didn't you get out sooner? Why didn't you stay? Why did you stay? And that plays with your mind, and you start blaming yourself. So it's so important, do not blame yourself. It's not your fault that you were abused. Now the next step is, like Jonathan just said, you have the tools, get out of it. Get out of it. It seems difficult, but the moment you get out, there is breakthrough. There is light, and there's so much more that God has in store for you. So you're not the product of your past. There is a future. God has a future for you. So yeah, that's all I wanted to add on.
Sure, man, amazing, profound words, and I hope that someone who finds themselves in that season, gets to build that courage and actually walk away from that. Incredible guest in studio, a writer and a co-director Tamika Mop. We also spoke to co-director and director of photography Jonathan Lumbila, and of course the amazing lead cast member or Lizandre September, a matriculant who plays the role of Candace, a young girl experiencing physical abuse. And the movie is called When Home Isn't Safe. It's coming out in November, right?
Yes.
And the first 100 people who purchases tickets, free popcorn, right? So make sure to visit all the social media platforms with regards to how you can get a hold of them and more on the movie. Guys, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
All right.
Thank you. God bless.
Thank you. Right, this one is titled My World Needs You, music by Kirk Franklin and Friends.